Good morning, everyone. This is Tracy. So, in today's lesson, we're going to explore the article, The Explorer's Daughter. And so, I'm sure that all of you have already read the article, but then you might not understand the intricacies or some of the details of the article because of the complicated vocabulary or sentence structures, etc. And so in today's lesson we're going to reread the article, so it's going to be a very good opportunity for you to familiarize yourself with the article. And after reading the article together, we're going to answer the following question. So, how does the writer use language and structure in the article in order to create tension and suspense? So, I have a question. What is the meaning of suspense? Right, that's correct. So, suspense is basically something that triggers you, that attracts your attention, that makes you feel excited or nervous, so that your interest of the article is sparked. And also, the response you provide should be supported with close references to the extract, including brief quotations and citations from the article. I'm also putting the marking rubric here so that you have a brief understanding of, the different spectrums of what you will be getting of your grade based on the answer that you provided. So let's take a look at, for example, level 4. So if you want to get to mark 8 to 10, basically you need to provide a thorough understanding and exploration of language and structural devices, as well as how these are used to achieve the effects. What effects? The effects of tension and suspense. And so the selection of references is confident, detailed, and fully supports the points being made. So without further ado, let's get started. So first of all, the general background. Reading general background is usually very important before you start reading an article, so that you have a general understanding of what this article is going to be about. So basically, as a small child, Herbert, so the author, the writer, her name is Herbert. So basically, she lived with her family among the Inuit people. Sometimes they're also called Inuits or Eskimos, in the harsh environment of the Arctic. So, where is the Arctic? Can you imagine? Guessing from this picture here. Yes, correct. So Arctic is basically the North Pole, an area that's extremely cold. So in 2020, in 2002, she revisited the area, staying near Thule, a remote settlement in the North Greenland. So in this passage, she writes about her experience of watching a hunt for the narwhal. So what is a narwhal? As you can see, this is a vivid picture of what narwhal is. As you can see here, this is its long tooth. That's why it's also known as a toothed whale. Basically, you can think of narwhal as a whale, but with a long, sharp tooth, as you can see here. And what she thought and felt about it. Okay, so this is like a general understanding of the article. Okay, so the first paragraph, let's read it together. 2 hours after the last of the hunters had returned and eaten, narwhal were spotted again. So, what is the meaning of spot? As a noun, spot might mean some dots on the zebra, some dots on the clothes. But then here it's very obvious that spot is a verb, not a noun. So spot here means to find out something, to identify something. So narwhal were spotted again. They were seen. They were seen. They were found out by somebody. This time very close. So within an hour, even those of us on shore could, with the naked eye see the plumes of spray from the narwhal, catching the light in a spectral play of color. So here, let's pay attention to the writer's usage of some vocabulary and sentence. So what is plumes of spray? This is a picture telling us what plumes of spray is. So basically, plume means a cloud of something. Just imagine an area where you can see these huge plumes of spray, of smoke going, rising up to the sky. So what can you feel? You feel very scared. You feel very creepy, right? So that's why you want to keep on reading the article because you want to find out about what's going to happen next. So catching the light in a spectral play of color. A spectral play of color. Spectral basically means like a ghost, like a ghost. Just imagine a ghost city, a ghost town. So a spectral play of color means like the colors are displayed in a variety of ways, making it ghost-like. You feel very creepy about this scene. So the writer in the first paragraph, she's trying to create an eerie atmosphere of the scene so that your attention is being drawn, okay? And two large pods of narwhal circled in the fraud, often looking as if they were going to merge, but always slowly, methodically passing each other by. Scrambling back up to the lookout, I looked across the glittering kingdom. Glittering kingdom, glittering, what is the meaning of glittering? Anybody knows? Yes, correct. So glittering means sprinkle things like the star, but not in a good way. Like it's usually very scaring. So it means sparkling, sparkling. A glittering kingdom, as you can imagine. Basically, I put a picture here as well. So it's like a kingdom that's glittering, that's shining out of nowhere. So one thing that I can probably imagine is like a Harry Potter. It's something that does not even exist. Okay, does not even exist, making the scene very creepy. So in front of me, and took a sharp intake of breath. So I took a sharp intake of breath. It means I was very nervous. I was scared. So the hunters were dotted all over the fraud, and the evening light was turning butter gold. Butter gold. So butter gold means gold in a butter way. Butter way. So kind of yellow, dark yellow, I think. So, um, yeah, the evening light was turning butter gold. So normally the color of the sky should be blue or blue velvet, but then it's turning like a dark yellow, making the scene very ghost-like as well. So glinting of man and well and catching the soft billows of smoke. Again, so the writer mentioned again about the smoke. So soft billows of smoke. Billow means cloud of smoke, just like plume. Again, the writer's trying to create like a smoky vibes of the city. So okay, so up until here, I understand that a lot of the vocabulary here, you might not be able to understand all of them. But then our purpose here is to try to find out what kind of phrases or vocabulary or sentence structure that the author used in order to create this tension and suspense to the reader. So it's okay if you do not understand all of the vocabulary here. It's totally normal. It's yeah, just don't worry too much about it and don't look up to the dictionary like right away. Give yourself some suspense, just give it a guess and then keep on reading. Okay. So from where we sat at the lookout, it looked as though the hunters were close enough to touch the narwhal with their bare hands. Okay, so it's as if the hunter could catch the narwhal with their bare hand, okay, bare hand, so without any tool. And yet, okay, so here the writer says, yet they never moved, yet they never moved. It's like going back and forth of describing this scene as if it's trying to reach out to something, but then it's as if it's never moved. Okay, just think of this thing. Think of this scene. Picture what's gonna like in this like a glittering kingdom. It's very creepy. So distances are always deceptive. Deceptive means something that's misleading, that's untrue, that's unreal. Okay, so distances are always deceptive in Arctic. And I fell to wondering if the narwhal existed at all, or were instead mischievous tricks of the shifting light, of the shifting light. What do you feel about reading this sentence? So the author's trying to say, oh, the hunter was trying to reach out to something that seems to be there, but seems to be, seems to be not existed at all. We can think of the scene in a way that's very scaring, okay, that's very eerie. Just like this is a phone here, right? You can see this is a phone, but what if you want to catch the phone here, but then the phone doesn't seem to be existing at all? How do you feel? You feel scary. It's like you're watching a horror movie, right? So here the author is trying to describe this scene by making it very creepy in a way that's almost undescribable. So the author gives the feeling of a magical aura. Aura means atmosphere over Greenland to intrigue the reader, okay, to intrigue the reader. Okay, so coming to the second paragraph, we're just gonna quickly skim through the article because I'll skim through this paragraph because in this paragraph it's mostly facts. There's nothing, tension uh or suspense. But yeah, so the fact here is the narwhal is an essential contributor to the survival of the hunters in the high Arctic. Basically, it means the hunters have to hunt on the narwhal in order to survive because they live on food. They have to eat something to survive. Okay, that's about this paragraph. We're not gonna dive into this paragraph too detailedly because this is not our aim. Okay, our aim is to find out the creepy part. Okay, so coming to the third paragraph, the women clustered. The meaning of cluster is to come together in a small group. Um, like it's like a very powerful word as it describes all the women huddled together. So they hug together in one group. Why? So let's keep on reading. The women clustered on the knoll of the lookout, binoculars. Okay, so this is um a pair of binoculars pointing in every direction. So each woman focusing on her husband or family member, occasionally spinning around at a small grasp or jump as one of the women saw a hunter near a narwhal. How do you feel about this sentence? So the women, they cluster together, they huddle together, they sit together in one place, holding these binoculars, and each woman, they focus on only their own husband and family member to see what's going on the sea. So we can tell here that the women, they were very nervous, okay? They were very anxious. They're afraid that um their husband or their family member might be exposed to some danger. So that's why they want to clutter together because they feel scared. So each wife knew her husband instinctively and watched their progress intently. It was crucial for to her that her husband catch a narwhal. Why? Because if her husband can catch a narwhal, it was like a part of their staple diet. So they have something to eat tonight. And that's why their wife, the women, they were very nervous. But then sometimes they were not nervous, not just because whether her husband can catch a narwhal, but because she's worrying that her husband might be exposed to some danger, and so that's why they looked out to this scene very carefully, and so and some of the mattock and the meat could be sold to other hunters who hadn't been so lucky, bringing in some much needed extra income. We can tell here that every family is poor, they're impoverished, so they want extra income. So every hunter was on water. It was like watching a vast waterborne game with the hunters spread like a net around the sound. Okay? So they not only want their husbands alive, but they need the food as shown by grasps. The writer describes it as a vast waterborne game. We can tell that the writers saying it in a very sarcastic way. It's the usage of irony. So they're playing with their lives. You see, the job of hunting narwhal is very dangerous and perilous, but then the author described it in a very like a light way, saying that it's like a game, okay? It's like a game. If you are saying, oh, exposing your life to danger is like a game, do you believe so? Of course not. Of course not. Because it's just not a game. It's not a game. It's a matter of life or death. So the writer is using a very like a delightful or like a easy way of describing the scene, but then it's only being ironic. It's only being ironic. It tries to convey, like the author tries to convey the message that it's not easy to be a hunter in the Arctic and to raise the whole family, okay? And so next, the fourth paragraph, the hunter was almost on the top of a pair narwhal, and they were huge. He gently picked up his harpoon. So harpoons like this huge tool that the hunter uses to catch narwhal. In that split second, my heart leapt. My heart leapt for both hunter and the narwhal. So in the split second, in that short moment, my heart leapt for both hunter and narwhal. What is the meaning of heart leapt? So leap, leapt, leapt. So leap is basically this movement. You jump from one area to another. So basically your heart jumped like a very sharply and abruptly. So why the author's heart leapt? It's because she was very nervous and worrisome seeing the scene of the hunter catching the war in that moment. The conflicting feeling she has for the hunter and the narwhal. She isn't sure which side she was on. So on one hand, she wants the hunter to catch the narwhal so that the hunter can bring the food back to their family and so they can enjoy having the food together to sustain their life. But then on the other hand, the author does not want to see the narwhal being killed, okay, being killed. So she feels like she was in a dilemma. She's not sure which side she's on, okay? So in building up to this, the writer mentioned the stillness, like a sudden pause. Just imagine this action is like within 1 second, but then within that very second, the author's heart like suddenly dropped because she was very nervous and worrisome. So in mentioning the quick action and the stillness, the pause of picked up his harpoon and aimed, this this creates a kind of tension between the quick action and the stillness in her mentality. So this tension makes the hunter choose between makes the writer choose between the hunter and the narwhal. This is another place where a suspense is created. Okay, so once again, the fifth paragraph is like a third paragraph. The writer again tries to state a fact. So why hunting is a necessity in the Thule, in the Arctic. So let's just skim through it. Basically, let's jump to this here. Imported goods can only ever account for a part of the food supply, and there is still only one annual supply ship, like one every year, that makes it through the ice to this place. And the small twice weekly, like bi-weekly plane from West Greenland can only carry a certain amount of goods. Once again, the writer explained why hunting is still an absolute necessity in Thule. Okay, so remember, like a last paragraph, the hunter was saying that, oh, her heart leapt. It was very um tensed. But then in the following paragraph, suddenly the author was trying to say something in a factual tone. So basically, it's also like a contrast between tension and relaxation. So the writer drops the tension instantly in this paragraph, creating a breathing gap for the reader to think over the debate. Okay, am I on the hunter or am I on the narwhal? So we know that we as reader, we do not want to hold our breath all the time. So that's why the author is trying to create an opportunity here for us to take a break from that tension and to take a step back to think about the debate that she just described, the hunter or the narwhal. Okay, so that's our article. Basically, as an example of the answer, we can read this together. Basically, the writer employs descriptive language to heighten the atmosphere of tension, the rise and fall of the tension, remember? So tension fact. Basically, and also the action of like holding the harpoon and the stillness of the writer's heart. So when the narwhal are spotted, the writer described the plumes of the spray catching the light in a spectrum play of color. The spectral creates an eerie, okay, so a creepy and mysterious image, adding to the suspenseful mood of the scene. And also, sentence structure is another effective tool. Mm, let's see the example. Distances are always deceptive, and I fell to wondering if the narwhal existed at all or instead mischievous tricks of the shifting light. Build suspense through the rhetorical question and the exploration of doubt. So this answer, we see this quotation mark here, okay, quotation mark. From from the article. Remember the rubric. If you want to get higher marks, you need to extract some of the quotations, direct quotes from the article. And so furthermore, vivid sensory imaginary plays a significant role in creating tension. The writer describes the evening light turning butter gold, glinting off the hunter's wells and even the soft billows of smoke from a lone hunter pipe. So this imagination not only sets a serene backdrop, but also contrast, okay, with the underlying tension of the hunter's stillness and the imminent hunt, adding to the suspenseful atmosphere. So, this is not like a perfect answer to that question at the very beginning of the lesson, but then this is an example, just giving you a sense of how to answer the question. Basically, the more quotations you use, the more analysis of the quotations as well as the sentence structure, the better. Okay, the better. So I think this concludes our class. If you have any further questions, please feel free to approach me, okay? So class over. Have a great day. Bye.